Ladies and gentlemen, with the whole situation going on right now in the Middle East, with Israel decided to do a preemptive attack, whatever the hell that means, um, you guys have to understand that this state is the true definition of a double standard, or should I say, a true definition of a hypocrite. Now, we understand something. We all know it. It's not a lie. Israel has nuclear bomb. That is a fact. That is a fact. They know that with that power in their hands, they have the ability to dominate the entire Middle East. But there's one country that is still standing in their way. One country. And they can't seem to justify the reason why this country is still standing and how they should take it down. They don't have a good reason for that. And so, with Benjamin Netanyahu in power, what reason do you need to attack it? You don't need nothing. All you gotta do is bombs away, turn around, put the cameras on, and say, "We are the victim, ladies and gentlemen." And so that's what we're seeing now. The programming doesn't work on anybody anymore. They understand that. They know that. Let's be honest. The majority of Americans have finally woken up. And so, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and listen to a 6-minute video of Myron Gaines explaining to you exactly how they got their hands on a nuclear bomb. Who? Them boys. Let's get it.
The state of Israel has an illegal nuclear weapons program. They are not a part of the No Proliferation Treaty or the Proliferation Treaty. They're not a member of that. They have an undeclared, unacknowledged nuclear program that is illegal. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, they got nukes. Like, how do you know? I'll tell you how I know. A guy named Mordecai Vanun who exposed this roughly 30 years ago, that Israel does in fact have a nuclear weapons program, and a sophisticated one at that. Back in the 1960s, the CIA.
Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this was 30 years ago. 30. At that time, they didn't have as much grip on America as they do today. And so with the amount of power that they have, the amount of influence that they have over the American people, I think they probably have oh man, imagine the weapon of mass destruction that they have that's capable of that will cause so much destruction. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to use it. They're going to use it. How do I know that? Because they have what we call the Samson option, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole world is waking up to these people. The whole world is seeing how much of aggressor these people are in the Middle East. And when the whole world wakes up to you and the people who are giving you money no longer support you, you are left defenseless. And if you don't have defense, well, you made a lot of enemies in the Middle East. Yeah. And so if Daddy America doesn't come to back you up, you're going to be taken down fairly easily. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's when the Samson option comes in play. And you cannot have an option called the Samson option unless you have a nuclear weapon. I mean, it's basic math. It's 2 plus 2. You know what I mean?
Suspected that Israel was running a nuclear weapons program, and they were going ahead and doing some work with France. Okay? They went out to Dimona and they tested the soil. When they tested out the soil, they found that the uranium was extremely high. Something around 90% is weapons grade, chat. So when they tested the soil and they saw this pure uranium there, there's no need to have uranium that highly enriched unless it's for weapons. They brought this information back to Kennedy. Kennedy demanded inspections because he suspected that they had nuclear weapons. Now you're probably wondering, uranium in the 1960s? Yeah, you want to know where the fuck they got it? They stole it from us. At the time when this happened, there was only one country in the world that was having.
Now they don't have to steal it. All they got to do is demand it. 2 weeks ago, no American talked about Iran. No American talked about invading Iran. It wasn't even talk of the town. It wasn't even a thought that was lurking around. None of that. And then all of a sudden, the whole entire America...
Uranium that pure.
I'm sorry. The whole entire America is saying, yo, why are we going to war in Iran? Why? Oh, I know why. Benjamin Netanyahu said that, Iran is 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or 6 or 4 weeks I don't know. He has he gives so many dates, and this goes back since what 1930? No, 19 I think it's 1995 or something. I don't know. All in all, it's been 34 years, ladies and gentlemen, that he's been claiming that Iran has nuclear bomb. Or well, not have, but they're about to make nuclear bomb. And ladies and gentlemen, well, after 30 years of feeding us the bullshit, guess what? He's finally speaking the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Iran is close to making a bomb.
It was the United States. And, namely, it was a facility called nuke out in Apollo, Pennsylvania. Not only did they steal uranium from the United States, there's declassified documents that show this, by the way, where they systematically smuggled uranium out of this plant, destined for Israel, where they can conduct this stuff. They were obsessed with getting a nuclear bomb because the Suez Canal crisis embarrassed the fuck out of Israel. And Ben Gurion became obsessed. Ben Gurion was first prime minister of Israel. So when you actually look at all the facts and you figure out that Israel's doing a genocide, Israel has an illegal nuclear arms program, Israel's not a part of the non-proliferation treaty, and on top of that, to make it even funnier, they shouldn't be getting aid from us technically because they've done illegal uranium enrichment and they run a nuclear program, and there's a law in the books right now from 1978 where we're not supposed to give aid to countries that run illegal nuclear programs.
Man, they don't give a fuck. Are you serious? These people started a war and now they're gonna drag the American people in. You seriously think that they give a damn whether or not if they're gonna let people come in and see all the nuclear bomb that they have? They don't give a damn. How many times do they have to show us that? They've blown up all the hospitals in Gaza. War crime. They've murdered innocent people. War crime. They've put people on what they call diet and prevent them from having food. War crime. You name it. Every single war crime that you can possibly name, they've done it all. And you seriously think these people give a damn? Oh, hell nah.
Programs like Israel is, you start to realize that we hit peak fucking irony here. So you're telling me, Israel, who's committing a genocide, who has an illegal, unacknowledged nuclear weapons program, that stole the uranium for their nuclear weapons program from us, that's getting aid from us as they disobey us. You're telling me that they're trying to tell Iran that they can't have a nuclear weapon when Iran is actually on a non-proliferation treaty? When Iran actually complied with the JCPOA, aka the nuclear deal from 2015, where they were working alongside France and Russia to ensure that they didn't enrich over 3%? Now you guys want to come back and say, oh, well, we think that they got a nuclear bomb and it's a problem because they got their uranium up to 60%? Let me tell you something, dumb fuck. The reason why they got the uranium up to 60% is because you motherfuckers made them tear up the deal. So don't fucking sit there and tell me that, Iran can't have a nuclear bomb, blah, blah, blah. As far as I'm concerned, we pushed them to make a nuclear bomb. Because we've been disingenuous, we've had bad diplomacy, and we've been fucking lying. And when they did come to the table to try to work with us, alongside a bunch of other countries, to come to a peaceful, amicable end, what did we do? We pulled out the fucking nuclear deal. Why? Because Trump and Mike Pompeo, are cucks for the Zionist fucking lobby. Mike Pompeo, just so you guys know, he was the guy that told Trump not to declassify the JFK documents. I wonder why. Because JFK didn't want the Israelis to have a nuclear fucking bomb. So let me get this straight. Pompeo forces Trump to get out the fucking nuclear deal that Obama established. Then he asks Trump to go ahead and move the embassy to Jerusalem. Then he puts the IRGC on the terrorist watch list in 2019. Then, when Trump wants to go ahead and declassify the JFK documents, he tells him no. Tell me that's not running cover for the Zionist lobby right fucking there. And these are the cold hard facts that none of these fucking retards can refute. This is why I embarrass Zionists anytime they try to tell me Iran can't have a nuclear bomb. Who the fuck are you to say that they can't defend themselves when you want to sit there and say, we have a right to defend ourselves? Cool. I actually think that Israel has a right to defend itself. But guess what? If you're going to go ahead and apply that metric that Israel has the sovereignty and the ability to defend itself, so does every other fucking country. And after all the bullshit diplomacy that we've exercised in the West, we got to take accountability. We have severed diplomacy. And the reason why we severed diplomacy is because we have a fucking outrageous Zionist lobby in America that does not give a fuck about American interests and wants to wage a war in the Middle East and be the only fucking nuclear superpower, and they want regime change. So, when Trump asked Tucker that question, Do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? People gotta grab their nuts and say, you know what? I don't give a fuck if they got a nuclear weapon, because quite frankly, I will feel better with Iran having a nuclear weapon than genocidal fucking Israel. And you can take that to the fucking bank. Israel's committed far more war crimes, killed way more people, done way more fucking heinous shit than Iran has. I'm not saying Iran's a fucking angel. They're terrible too. It's an evil regime. But don't fucking sit there and virtue signal and say, the most moral army in the world. We're the only democracy in the Middle East. We have freedom of press. It's all a fucking lie. Democracy? Freedom? Israel is an apartheid, ethnocentric state that practices the very supremacy that they criticize other countries of having. And most Americans are too stupid and oblivious to know this. I would feel much better with Iran having a nuclear bomb than Israel. Because unlike Israel, Iran didn't steal the uranium from us. Unlike Israel, Iran lets inspectors go check their nuclear facilities. Unlike Israel, Iran is a part of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Unlike Israel, they've worked with the IAEA before. So for Israel to sit there and say, yo, you guys can't have nuclear weapons when they're running an illegal nuclear weapons program is absolutely fucking comical. So if anyone tries to sit there and tell you, oh, they can't have nuclear weapons, blah, 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 tell them just like this. Shut the fuck up, because Israel's doing a genocide and has nuclear weapons.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what I mean when I said these people are just hypocritical. They have a double standard, because every single time they accuse a country of doing something, they themselves are either doing it or they're planning on doing it. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by.